Systemd unit file is a file with instructions for systemd how to run some daemon. MonetDB daemon also has systemd unit file. If I run this command system control status MonetDB, I will get status of my daemon, and here we will also see where our systemd unit file for MonetDB is placed. I will now read from that file, so I will use cat command, and we will see the content of MonetDB systemd unit file. And inside of this systemd unit file, we can see that location of the default dbfarm is hard-coded, so we cannot change it. But from recently, from the version 11.53.13 of MonetDB, we can change this directory, and for that we will use a different version of this systemd unit file. I will clear my screen, and then I will jump to this another virtual machine. And inside of this other virtual machine, I will again read my systemd unit file, but this time we will see a newer version. So this is a different systemd unit file, and now we can see again this default location of the dbfarm, but this location is assigned to environment variable. And this environment variable is referenced later inside of this system file. So here we can see reference to that environment variable. So if we change our location of the default dbfarm, we can change it here, and then all other parts of this systemd unit file will use that new location. So now we can change location of the default dbfarm. I will now clear my screen. Next, we will see how we can change location of the default dbfarm. And for that, we will not change original systemd unit file, but we will create so-called drop-in file. So what is a drop-in file? I will jump to this web page here, and let's assume that this original file is original systemd unit file. We will create a new file. This is drop-in file, and inside of it we will place only the changes. So we will place some lines that will overwrite original lines and some lines that will be added. So combination of the original file and drop-in file will create the final systemd unit file that will be valid. And to do that, I will go back to terminal and I will run command sudo system control edit MonetDB. And this will open nano text editor. Inside of it, we will have a file with the whole original systemd unit file, but all of the lines will be commented out. Inside of this file, we have to place these changes. So only lines that are changed, and the only line that I want to change is this line. Instead of using dbfarm, I now want to use different folder, so I will use dbfarm2. So I will copy this line. I will go back to terminal and read this. Anything between here and the comment below. So we have to place our line somewhere between these two lines. So I will paste it here, and this is my change. But I also have one more problem. And for that, I will go again here to this web page. I must tell you that I'm now using Linux distribution KD Neon. And this is Ubuntu-based Linux distribution. And this distribution doesn't use SC Linux. So what is SC Linux? SC Linux is a security feature, but it is used inside of the Red Hat distribution. And this SC Linux is using this command chcon, and this command chcon is inside of our original systemd unit file. So MonetDB developer team created a systemd unit file that is working on the Red Hat distribution, but it will not work on the KD Neon. In order to make it to work, we have to remove these lines. So we have to remove everything that is red on this command. And how we are going to do that? Well, just like we made this change, we will also change these two lines. First, I want to go again to this original systemd unit file, and I want to tell you that we have three lines that start with exec start pre, and we also have third exec start pre. These three lines are actually the same command, just that command is broken into parts to be more readable. And I will now overwrite all of these 3 lines. And to do that, just like I did here, I will create 3 new lines, and they are here. That is 4 new lines. So first I will add this line. This line will delete all of these 3 lines. So all 3 lines will be deleted. And then we will add this line. This line here is actually this line here, but without this red part. Then I will add this second line. This second line is the same as this command, but without this red part. And the third line is unchanged. So I will now take those lines and I will paste them also inside of the terminal. So I will copy my lines, I will come here and I will paste them. And now we have made all of the changes. I will now save these changes. So I will type Ctrl-O and then I will press Enter and then I will press Ctrl-Exit. That is Ctrl-X. And I will exit. And now we have to reload our systemd because systemd must take in account this new drop-in file. So systemd has to read a new drop-in file. So we will reload systemd with this command, system control dim reload. And now I will clean my screen. Let us now check the changes that we have made. I will run this command, system control show MonetDB, and I will only read the line with the word environment. So I will run this and we can see that our change is accepted. Our drop-in file is inside of the directory that is at this address. So I will jump to this location and inside of it we will check where is our drop-in file. So I will read the content of this folder and this is our drop-in file. I will now read from this file and we will see our change. So here we can see this first change and this is the second change. We can also use command system control cat MonetDB. If we run this command, this will open our systemd unit file with all of the changes and location. So at this location here, we have our original systemd unit file. But at this location here, we can see our changes. I will now exit from here and I will clean my screen. I will now test whether all of this is working. First, I will go back to my home folder. Then I will add my user to MonetDB user group. I will run this and then I have to log out and then to log in order for this change to become valid. But instead of that, I will just run this command new group MonetDB and my group will be refreshed. After that, I will start MonetDB by using systemd. My password is this one. Okay. Then I will create one database. So I will create one database and I'm expecting this database to be created inside of the new default dbfarm that is inside of the folder dbfarm2. This will work. I will release this database and I will also put MonetDB under full control of systemd. That means when I reboot my computer, my MonetDB daemon will start automatically. And now we will reboot computer and then we will wait for it to reboot. Now that our computer has restarted, I will log in. And then I will run a terminal. So I will run a terminal and instead of the terminal, I will try to log in into my database DB desktop. My password is MonetDB and it is working. That means that after we restarted our computer, our MonetDB is working and is using our new location of the default dbfarm. I will exit this session and I will clean my screen. I will do one more thing. I will go to this dbfarm2 folder because I want to see whether my database is really created inside of this folder. And I will take a look at content of this folder and here we can see our new database. I will now go back to home folder and I will clear my screen, and then I will jump back to that other virtual machine. So I will go to this virtual machine. In the next section, we will talk about schemas. I will jump to this web page, and here we can see an image of a database. Inside of a database, we have different database objects like tables, views, functions, relations, and so on. And we can organize these objects in schemas. So schema is logical organizational unit inside of a database. Schema is one part of a database, and one database object can belong to one and only one schema. Only administrator and user who has sysadmin role can create a schema. And when we create a schema, we have to decide who will be the owner of that schema, because only the owner can edit objects inside of one schema. And the owner can be either a user or a role. If we want for several people to manage one schema, then we have to give ownership to a role, and then we have to add users to that role. In order to create a schema, we will run one SQL command. But in order to create all of the objects inside of a schema, we can use so-called schema file. So schema file on this image here is a file that has some SQL commands that will create all of the objects inside of one schema, and this file also has data that will fill tables inside of a schema with data. And to create all of those objects, we can use one file that was prepared for us by MonetDB development team. And we can download that file from this location. So I will click on this link, I will click here, and a new file will be downloaded. And this file is schema file. I will now go here to desktop, and this is our file. It is a zip file, so I will unzip it here. And inside of it we have a file with SQL extension. I will open this file in text editor, and this is our schema file. So we have some SQL that will create a table, and then it will fill that table with data, and so on. I will now go back to terminal. I will now start dbfarm1. So I will use command monetdb start, and then I will log in as administrator to VLC database. My password is MonetDB. And first I want to explain you what is a current schema. If we run a statement like this one, so this is a comment. So these two dashes are for comment. So this is not a real statement. It will not be executed. If we run it like this, then Monet will look for this table inside of the current schema. But if we want to read from some table that is not in the current schema, then we have to provide the full name of a table, so we need this prefix. This is actually a built-in schema inside of Monet. And now I will tell you that when we log in as administrator, administrator will also have his current schema. So I can run this statement, select current schema, and we will see that current schema for MonetDB is this. So everything that administrator will do now will affect this schema. And this is important because we can change this current schema. We can use this current schema, we can jump to some other schema to be our current schema. But when we log in, we always have the same current schema, and that first current schema that we have after we log in is called default schema. I'm explaining you this because now I will create a new user. And for that, I will use statement create user. So I will create user with this name, with this password. This is the full name of a user. Because we want username to be short, we can also provide a full name that will describe who is this user. And this here is default schema for my new user. We will later change this to some other schema, but for now we will use this built-in schema as a default schema for this user. Although this user is not owner of this schema, administrator is owner of this schema, but we can still use that schema temporarily just to provide default schema for our user when he is created. So I will run this, and now we have a new user. Now I will use that user to provide owner of a new schema. So I will create a new schema with create schema statement, and I will say that owner of this schema is VOC user. Now don't get confused. We have a database VOC, and inside of it we have a VOC schema, and we also have VOC user. So everyone are called VOC. I will now run this, and now I want to change default schema of my user. I want this VOC schema to be default schema of my user. So I will now use alter user statement. I will set schema VOC to be default schema of the VOC user. So I will run this, and then I will quit from this sesh. And after that, I will clean my screen. Now we have a VOC schema, but we have no database objects inside of this schema. So I will use statements from my schema file to create those objects. I will go back to terminal, and I will run this statement. This statement will log VOC user to VOC database, and then it will execute all of the statements from this schema file. But when this VOC user log in into database, his current schema will be his default schema. His default schema is VOC schema, so all of these statements will be executed inside of the VOC schema. I will now run this, and then we will wait a little bit. My password is VOC. And now our schema is successfully created. So we can now log in. We will again log in as a VOC user. My password is VOC. And then I will use command \d. This command will list all of the tables inside of the current schema, and current schema is VOC schema. And we can see now that we have 8 new tables inside of this schema with these names. I will quit my session, and I will clean my screen. And now we want to see how our tables are organized. For that, we will install one program that is using graphical interface to show us connections between our tables. So we type sudo snap install the beaver community dish. I will click on enter, and now we will wait for this program to be installed. Now that we have installed our program, we will just go here to start button. We will type here the beaver, and we will open this program. We will close all of these dialogues that will appear now. We will maximize our window. We will go to this menu here, other, and we will find our Monet database. It's here. We will enter here a name of our schema. It is VOC. Our username is VOC, and our password is also VOC. We will click on finish, and now we will get a dialog which asks us to whether we want to install a driver. We will click on download, and then we will double click here on our schema name. We will go to ER diagram, and here we will see our tables. Here below we have this Voyages table. We will place it here in the middle, and we will also move all of these other tables just to see how they are organized. We will move them up. And here we can see that we have one fact table in the middle. We have 8 dimension tables. Each table has columns number and number sub, and those columns are actually primary keys for each of these tables, except for the table invoices, where we can see by this dashed line that those columns are not primary keys for this table, but this is a structure of tables inside of our Monet database.